Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something deeper today. So today I want to talk about one important question that everyone should ask and that everyone should discover for themselves. And that is the question, who am I? Who has God created to me, and what is my purpose in life? So I'm going to delve a bit deeper into who we are now. I believe that you are 3 in 1. You have your spirit, you have your soul, and you have your body. And you have to understand this concept to completely change the way you see yourself and others, and actually to live a life based upon who you truly are instead of living from the external things out there. Now, for most of my life, I only understood one part of myself, and that is my body. I understood how I should look like. I understood what I should wear. I understood that my hair should be perfect and I should look nice. I should look presentable. And all these things are taught from a young age. But it's also hyper focused on that single part. It's only one part of who you are, instead of looking at the spirit and the soul. So what happens when you look at the external the whole time, when you look at your body the whole time, as thinking this is who I am? The problem is that you view yourself and others primarily through external things, appearance, achievements, possessions, and status. So you place all your identity in those things, which is external, which then leads you to feel unfulfilled when those things are not in place. But circumstances happen to all of us. It's normal. Things happen and we lose something. And we feel like our world is totally distraught, our world is totally destroyed. And that's the problem that most of us have. We have this external perspective of who we are instead of an internal perspective, instead of discovering our spirit and our soul. And that is taught throughout our young age. We are taught to think this way, to think externally instead of internally. Instead of thinking about our main questions, about these main questions in our lives, instead of thinking that way and actually discovering who we are. And it's taught throughout our lives, through the schools, through the entertainment, especially entertainment with social media. We are constantly trying to focus on the external. And today, many children even spend hours on their screens, on entertainment, on things that is teaching them to think externally, to think about the nice car, the nice house. And they build this perspective and this desire and this identity of who they want to be. But it's the external. It's all the external things. They want this house. They want this car. They want to be like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or they want to be like, I don't know who's popular anymore, but those people, they want to be like those people. And they see the outside and they've learned that, okay, this is who I should be. Like I should have this kind of hairstyle. I should have this kind of body, and I should train myself. So while entertainment isn't necessarily bad, it often distracts us from asking deeper questions from a young age. Questions like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I created for? And I remember spending, as a child, countless hours consuming games, videos, and entertainment. My mind was full with outside influences. And I truly have this external perspective of who I should be, where I am now, who I should be. And I admire and I sought after the possessions, I sought after the things of this world, the external things. But very little time was spent understanding who I am. Even our education system tends to focus heavily on the material world, what we can measure, what we can touch, what we can achieve, and I understand that. But it's much more than that. It's just much more than the external life. And because there's something deeper in life, and everything that exists physically began as an idea first. Every building, every invention, every school, every business started in someone's mind before it became a reality. So what is more real? Is it the material world? Is it the ideas, the thoughts that we have that creates those things? Because those ideas and those thoughts come first before we create anything in life. So what is more real, the internal, the external? I would argue that the eternal is way more real. And once we adopt that and we understand that, we can live a life from the inside out. And that will bring much more fulfillment instead of trying to live from the external to the internal. I don't believe we can live from the external to the internal. I don't think that's possible. You can take this chair and change it back to idea. It's already built. You cannot take it back in your mind as an idea. So it doesn't make sense. So understanding this is very important. And then the Bible teaches that we are created in the Imago Dei, a Latin phrase meaning the image of God. This means that every person has inherent value, dignity, and purpose because they reflect their Creator. Understanding the Imago Dei gives us a stable foundation for identity. When you truly believe you're created in the image of God, you stop measuring your worth by external things such as money, appearance, intelligence, success, or possessions. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to see others differently. You recognize that every person has value because they are created by God. However, sin distorted this image within humanity. Everyone commits sin, no matter who you are. Everyone has fallen short of the grace of God, right? Our view of God, ourselves, and others became clouded because of this sin that we have committed, each of us have committed. But Jesus came as the perfect image of God through his life, death, and resurrection. He made restoration possible in him. As we put our trust and our faith in him, he will restore us and make us a new creature, give us a new spirit, not a new body, a new spirit. But the issue is the restoration happens spiritually, and you still have your soul. And your soul have to align with this new person, with this new spirit within you. And that's why you still need to renew your mind. Because what you think is who you are, right? So we must learn to align our thinking with who God says we are rather than who the world says we are. So therefore, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of filters, and there's a lot of subconscious thoughts, conscious thoughts that's taking us away from who we truly are. It's taking us away from this image that God has created us with. So many people struggle with purpose, joy, and peace because they're operating from a purely materialistic perspective. They know what they do, but they don't know who they are. And they're completely misaligned in life. So the Imago Dei provides a different perspective. It calls us to live from the inside out, to discover who God created us to be, to remove the filters, the labels, the false identities that we have accumulated throughout life in order for us to achieve the things that we need to achieve, that we want to achieve. But we don't really want to achieve those things. We think we do because that's what we adopted throughout our lives, throughout the entertainment. And God is calling us to a deeper level, to understand our personality, our gifts, our desires, and our purpose, and live from that. This journey of self-discovery isn't about becoming someone else. It's about uncovering who God created to be from the beginning and removing all those things that is, what can I say? That is the filters in your mind that is clouding your judgment of who you are and living from that. And when you discover your identity on this foundation, you can make better decisions, build healthier relationships, pursue the right opportunities, and stop living for the approval of others. You begin living from your true identity instead of chasing validation. This is actually why I've created frameworks that help people understand themselves, understand their personality, remove limiting filters, remove things that you might have believed about yourself, the identities that you have believed about yourself, and fighting that with the scripture, with the truth, with real things that says who you are. and actually live from that, from who you are, not from the things of this world. And then align your lives in a God-given identity. So if you're ready to start your self-discovery journey and learn how to truly live authentically and truly being who you are and not being who someone else is or trying to be someone else, and you truly want to live from this, you can book a one-on-one session with me. You can click the link down below, book a one-on-one session with me, and we'll just have an honest conversation of where you are, where you want to go, who do you think you are, all these kind of questions to understand your personality, to understand who you truly are, and then start this self-discovery journey that you are called to be on. And then once you discover yourself, you can live from an authentic life, or you can live an authentic life and actually achieve what you're called to achieve, and not have things that will take you away from who you truly are because you thought that's what you want. So it's very important for you to understand yourself, to discover yourself. So yeah, we'll be talking about this, and if you truly want to, you can just click the link down below. We can have a simple one-on-one session where you can truly discover who you are and live from that. So yeah.